Okay, welcome to another episode of Malden Talks with Joe Gray, and tonight's guest to chat with is Councilor-at-Large Steve Winslow. Steve and I have lived in the same neighborhood for many years, and we've had a good time, and I've come to know him, and he's done some very interesting things. One of the more interesting things, Councilor Steve Winslow has done lately is become councilor. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through like a lightning round. We're going to go through some topics, and I'm going to ask him a few things that he could help us with. So, Steve, how do you think you've impacted the work of the city since you've been elected councilor?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, one of the things that motivated me to run was I went to subcommittee meetings and council meetings, and things didn't seem to be getting done, and councilors were very divisive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think since Councilor Kamel and I came on board, people were talking. Sometimes we disagree, but we focus on the work of the city and we get stuff done. I feel that change. We're respectful, and I think I know. Councilor President DeMaria at the time, we had passed a lot more ordinances this past year,
mm-hmm.
and I think that's a lot continuing with Council President Sika. I mean, we have our dialogues, disagreement, but then we're working for the best of the city. So I think that's an impact.
That's dialogue. That's
and with the city staff. I mean, I think the other thing I'm working on is working with staff to kind of take a longer term vision. I know.
Speaking of that, could you try and enlighten us what some of your key accomplishments have been?
Well, like just in terms of, like I say, trying to get people to look a little further down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than like doing our pavement or lead pipes year by year, I'm trying to work to get us to work at a 5-year plan. And
mm-hmm.
we're anticipating the mayor's going to come up with a 5-year plan on that. So that's kind of one of the things, is to kind of look further down. I mean, in terms of accomplishments, I mean, one good step is to have public comment. People can come now to our council meeting, and it was kind of, there was a lot of resistance. I mean, that was actually an issue in the campaign where somehow this was going to disrupt all the business of the council, but it's working out fine.
Drag out the time, and
drag out time, and it's going fine. So
it really hasn't.
It hasn't. And the other thing, we're making some initial steps in terms of transportation. I really think that's a key thing that I'm trying to bring attention to. So I was able, with the mayor, we secured some more money to fix sidewalks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the council did vote for over $5 million to help continue the lead pipe replacement program and fix the potholes on key streets. So
mm-hmm.
we're moving forward on that, and working to get some more money come next year. So that's a key thing that I'm trying to work on. And
with all these key things, they sound like some of them are pretty big issues. What kind of challenges do we have that remain to get through some of these?
Well, I mean, like one of the things I think in terms of transportation, I realize, we haven't really been thinking very far out ahead, and we mm-hmm. tend to let things bubble up and become a crisis before we address them. I mean, we had this situation down by the T station in the same week. 2 people got hit by buses.
Oh.
And the MBTA said, well, we don't want buses to go through the intersection anymore. And it was like kind of crazy. And I was able to come up with $5,000 so we could fix the traffic signal, make it safer. But like, why did this take, this was something that was obvious 3 years ago. And so that's the type of thing to really work on things and take a long-term
mm-hmm.
view. That's some of the challenge. I mean, on March 21st, I'm actually holding a forum, Sustainable Transportation Forum, at the BB School at 6 o'clock to talk about these things and find out what other communities are doing to look further down the line. Like
mm-hmm.
Everett and Arlington have done some innovative bus lanes that
mm-hmm.
are speeding up traffic. Somerville's got a lot of money.
I plan to attend that forum.
Okay, and maybe you'll get to see
a lot of people are interested.
Yeah. And Somerville has the green line coming.
Mm-hmm.
They got a new orange line station. So we're having someone who was involved in that, and locally DJ Wilson, who's been instrumental on Complete Streets, which is focused a lot on walking and biking. So we'll kind of cover the gamut of what people are doing. And before that, come on down. There's going to be we're going to have an electric bus, like a city-sized bus that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
This company called Bonzer that's looking to do sort of car share, sort of like
Mhm.
you just have line bikes get parked around the city. There would be some parking reserved for these
Mhm.
cars you could just check out by your smartphone kind of
Hmm.
thing. So kind of interesting stuff. And I can say, who knows what the transportation thing is going to be for Malden, but it's, let's think about it. Let's look ahead of it.
I think
So,
we should.
yeah.
What I'd like to know is, after your first year as a city councilor, what was your biggest surprise?
Well, one of the things, I've worked in government, most of my career. So, and so I've worked for mayors, I've worked in state
Mhm.
departments and done some legislative stuff, but it's just different being a legislator. You're part of a body that has 11 individuals.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily like a football team that Bill Belichick selected. We're all kind of coming from our own point of view.
Yeah.
And so it takes time to get us all working together.
Mm.
And there's no necessarily Bill Belichick making sure we all come together. So that's a challenge. We all have that responsibility to try to work together. So I'm learning that how even some things that seem so obvious. We were trying to get a bus stop back in downtown to help seniors get to the senior center, and
Mhm.
that seems something pretty straightforward. But between some concerns from the city and businesses,
Mm.
something relatively straightforward that had support in the council kind of got held up. So that's the type of thing I'm really trying to understand
Well,
those things.
seeing all
So,
these
yeah,
issues,
yeah.
all the surprises,
Mhm.
all the challenges, everything working with, it's like herding cats, everybody,
Yeah.
different counselors. What motivates you to serve? What motivates you to do this?
Well, I mean, when you get something done. I mean, even a small thing for individuals is great. I mean, just helping someone, address a parking issue or
Mhm.
getting a sidewalk fixed. I mean, there's a lot of satisfaction even in just helping that. And then, then it's really great when you start working on bigger things. It takes more time to have that happen, but
Mm.
helping people individually in their lives. I mean, the nice thing, I'm kind of slowing down, and it's like helping people on little things is a key thing. Is it fun? And then sometimes that's outside of the work you do, voting on something. It's just helping someone, get an air conditioner because their room was too hot.
I'll tell you what,
So fun stuff. But,
people appreciate that.
Yeah,
They really do.
so doing what I can there. So and it's working with our seniors.
Mm.
It's fun to go and visit and see what they have, and they're great in learning from them. And it's important, working both newcomers to Malden as well as
Mhm.
old timers to help people to work together. That's a challenge, but it's also
Mm.
a fun part and a challenging part of Malden. Makes it interesting to live here, certainly. And working with kids. I mean, I worked on this Vote 16 initiative that students from our high schools came together and proposed that kids should be able to vote in local elections, and I think it was a very interesting initiative. I supported that because I really wanted to get kids in.
Is that for
Yeah.
Malden or statewide?
It would be municipal elections. So it's it's an idea. I mean, like I say, it was one we had a lot of discussion in the council. The initial round was it didn't go through, but I'm hoping. I mean, I really want to, by working with people and listening, we get some other initiatives out there. And I think, that is a challenge of making sure that we unify as a city, because we will get more things done together when we work together rather than when we divide and separate. So I think that's a key thing, and that's the type of thing that I want to work for. And as elected officials in a place like Malden, we always have to constantly think of how are we working to bring people together on stuff. It's so easy to tear people apart. It's much tougher to work to get people with all these different interests to work together, and that's the challenge of government, and that's what I face. And I like the challenge. So
I applaud you for taking on that challenge. But we got to start wrapping up.
Okay.
What I'm hoping for is that you keep doing good, because a lot of people are counting on you. And I'm not sure you realize it, but this broadcast, you made some news. There are probably some things that people are talking about in what we discussed tonight that people don't quite know. The Vote 16, the transportation initiative, whatever. So let's wrap this up. This is Joe Gray from Malden Talks, here with City Councilor at Large, Steve Winslow, and we'd like you to vote. Okay. And any last words before we sign off?
I really want to thank everybody for taking the time, and I do encourage you to vote. And you also have the possibility if you want to run. I mean, one of the things I did work on is we moved up the date where you take out your nomination papers.
That's
so
right.
There's a little bit more time. It'll be a little bit easier if you're interested in getting those papers, because I know this guy, he could have gotten some papers out and run in 1 year. But so we made it a little easier to get your nomination papers together. So
I think I'll probably pass on this year.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
Good night,
All right, have a
everybody.
good one. Take care.